We're spending the week at Andermatt. Today we're taking the train to Schollenen and then walking back to Andermatt by way of the Devil's Bridge. Before we start, I'd like to explain why the Devil's Bridge plays an important part in Swiss history. The St Gotthard Pass is the easiest route across the Alps if you are travelling from southern to northern Europe, in other words from Italy to Germany. Nowadays most trucks and cars go through the 14-kilometre tunnel through the mountain, but back in the day goods were carried along the mountain tracks by pack horses and mules. The most difficult part of the route is this narrow gorge through a rock bar just below Andermatt. The only way around is the rep path up the mountain, which is difficult and dangerous. The weather in this region is very unpredictable and not a good place to be when it's snowing or in a storm. After many failed attempts, they finally managed to build a wooden bridge across the gorge in about 1220 and fixed a 60-metre long boardwalk to the face of the cliff to get round the difficult section. In 1585, they replaced the wooden bridge with a stone bridge and at some stage made a tunnel so they could get rid of the boardwalk. The first thing we pass after leaving the station is this derelict building, which is the old station hotel, and this is what it looked like in its glory days. It was most recently used to house workers on the tunnel, and hence the cheap furniture. But at one time it was cosy and comfortable, not a bad place to relax after a tiring crossing of the pass. This is the original path which was used by travellers for about 800 years, originally by pack horses and mules, but then by carts and carriages. It was a dangerous journey. There were natural hazards such as avalanches, floods, weather and so on, but also thieves and bandits preying on the wealthy travellers. In 1609, a party of Irish earls lost a fortune in gold and valuables when the horse carrying it fell into the river whilst they were crossing the Devil's Bridge. It was St Patrick's Day, so they may have been worse for wear. I just noticed that on the black and white picture of the old bridge there is no parapet. There is nothing to stop you falling off. It looks a bit sketchy. All the trade made the area very wealthy and powerful. In 1291, Uri and two of the neighbouring cantons formed a mutual defence pact. This federation gradually expanded over the centuries and eventually led to the creation of the modern Switzerland. 2 years ago we drove home over the Furka Pass. That's the pass made famous by the car chase scene in the 1964 James Bond movie Goldfinger. At the top the road goes past the Rhone Glacier, which is the source of the Rhone River. This is Goldfinger's Rolls-Royce passing the Hotel Belvedere. Notice how the glacier towers over the road. This is where you buy tickets to enter the glacier walk and see the famous ice caves. It's the same building as in the background of the Bond photo, just repainted. Notice that the glacier has gone. The glacier has retreated about 2 kilometres. They put tarpaulins over it to stop the ice over the caves melting. They have to cut new caves every year as the glacier retreats. I'm not sure if they're still open. The environmentalists don't like the tarpaulins and want to let nature take its course. The operators want to keep them open, but I imagine they will close sooner or later as it gets more expensive to maintain. I think this is the remains of a hydroelectric plant. There's something similar near where we live built for the Nestlé chocolate factory. This is the new road which was finished in 2019. When we first visited Andermatt it was a small town, but it's been developed into a major ski resort. The station has been rebuilt, many new apartment blocks are under construction. We haven't skied there, but we are trying to talk the owner of the apartment we are staying in to rent it to us for a week. They use it themselves in the ski season, so it's not normally available. If you look carefully, you can see the remains of an old road on the side of the mountain. This must be the original road which starts at Hospital and goes up the mountain to bypass the gorge. This tableau explains why it's called Devil's Bridge. In the early 13th century, after every attempt to build the bridge had failed, the locals finally asked the devil to help. The devil had one condition: the first soul over the bridge shall be mine. After the bridge was finished, and in the absence of volunteers, the locals tricked him by sending a goat over the bridge. The devil was furious and picked up an enormous rock to destroy the bridge. Fortunately, a holy man came along at the right moment and stopped him. The devil, frustrated, threw the enormous rock away. When the new road was built, the famous rock was in the way and transported to its new location. This monument commemorates a battle between Russian and French forces in 1799 during the Napoleonic Wars. The Russians had fought their way over the St Gotthard pass, but the French had blocked the tunnel and tried to destroy the bridge. The Russians won the day, but it was all in vain because the force they were supposed to join up with had already been defeated. This is the restaurant at Devil's Bridge. It was closed when we were there, but it has good reviews, so maybe next time. See how busy the old road used to be. Judging by the cars, I'd say this photograph was taken around 1930. And a good view of the present-day Devil's Bridge, with the road that we walked up underneath, and where the boardwalk would have been attached to the cliff. You can just see the painting of the devil and the goat at the tunnel entrance, and the spray from the torrent below. These tunnels, built into solid rock, are part of the old Swiss defence network. In Switzerland, every military-age male is obliged to do military training. Andermatt used to be a major army base and is still a large training centre. These steps take you up to the fertile and flat area around Andermatt. Talking about defence, look carefully at the cliff and you will see emplacements for large guns. This shows the large-scale development in Andermatt. It's mainly funded by an American company called Vail Resorts, which has gone into partnership with the Swiss ski operators. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it.